In 2005, Kofi Annan, the United Nations Secretary General at the time, established the UN Alliance of Civilizations along with Turkey and Spain. The objective was to reduce cross-cultural tensions and to build bridges between communities, especially between the West and the Muslim world. Is the initiative working? We talked to Spain's former foreign minister and UNAOC's High Representative, Miguel Moratinos. Ambassador, one of the stated objectives of the UN Alliance of Civilizations is basically to try and work out ways to eradicate polarization between different societies. In your assessment, what are the most concerning areas for you?
Well, of course, it's religion, of course, different culture, and this spirit that is spreading more and more of the hate speech, that is going through social media, also political messages through political parties and political leaders that are growing up and putting the whole situation into a serious situation and very serious.
Do you find yourself in a difficult position striking a balance between free speech and perhaps hate speech?
Well, yes and no. You know, one of the achievements of the Alliance of Civilization was, you remember the cartoon crisis. I remember I was foreign minister at that time, and I helped through the Alliance to mitigate and to understand that you can have freedom of speech, but you have to express respect for the other's belief and creeds. And I think that is one of the great challenges that have the Alliance.
You're basically suggesting that there's more than just a Western civilization, but many people, especially in the global South, feel that there's a dominant ideology that is being imposed on them. They consider this a form of cultural imperialism, and basically they're saying that even when you talk about international law, international political system and so forth, it's the dominant actors that are ultimately defining it. And this is where the Turkish president talks about the need for structural reforms to the UN.
We need to reform the UN system, and that's part of the work and the responsibility of Alliance. Global South has been suffering, has been under, colonial rule, there has been under poverty, but today we are coming to this new global world, and we try, on the economic development and growth, to try to overcome these inequalities. That is part also.
The Turkish foreign minister has expressed concerns about what he says the rise of Islamophobia, xenophobia and racism in Europe. Is that a matter of concern for you?
In Europe, unfortunately, there is more and more this kind of negative perception against Islam, against the Muslim and Arab countries. And that is, a kind of general perception that fill up among themselves, and that creates this negative attitude towards different communities.
When I look at the literature coming from AOC or follow some of your programs, there is, for example, agreement on dealing with extremism. But one of the problems I find here is that a lot of the times this term is used in a very politically loaded fashion, in a rather arbitrary way. And let's face it, AOC comes under the United Nations structure. The United Nations still has many members who oppose democracy and who have been branding fairly popular movements, especially in the Muslim world, as terrorist organizations, and trying to sort of curb them. So isn't that just increasing the polarization where people who are not engaged in violent activities, for example, the Muslim Brotherhood, they would feel that the democratic way forward that you are proposing and supporting is not working for them?
I think we can't convince everybody. I think everybody, the way you engage with them, I found different approaches from different countries, different regime. My work is to work with all of them. We have to be sustainable, have to be efficient, and I think the Alliance can provide with certain tools and instruments this element. But I have to address to everybody, even if some will be more easy, others will be more complicated to convince.